there are too many mosques in America. I am running for the people of the District of 2nd North Carolina, who are good, hardworking Christian people. These were the comments of Congressman Allen West, Chairman Peter King, and Congresswoman Renee Almers, respectively. When different people present different views on issues, it's important that we are able to engage in a discourse and dialogue about them. When it's elected officials who are talking about the American Muslim community, often the Arab American community, in a way like this, it's a slightly different kind of dynamic. And that is why we convened our panel today. And that is what we want to talk about. I'm going to start with Matt Duss, who is the National Security Editor at the Center for American Progress. We'll have comments from the speakers and then open up to Q&A. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you. A real pleasure to be here. Really important topic. I do apologize in advance for having to leave a bit early, so I'll try to be quick here. One of the main trends that the Center for American Progress and those of us working there have observed over the past couple of years is that obviously that we're in a period of intense economic difficulty here in the United States. There's the Tea Party movement and the divisions within the conservative movement right now are as specifically on the question of foreign policy are about as big as they have been in many decades. We saw some of the controversy at the recent CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference, where the opposing sides, the Tea Partiers, the Rand Paulites, have real questions about America's role in the world, the cost of America's global engagement. And we see Islamophobia as being one of the issues that a number of more neoconservative or those conservatives who support a much more robust and militaristic approach to world affairs are using to paper over some of these differences. I think we saw this division, I think we saw the results of these efforts in the kind of mixed up response from a number of people on the right to events in Egypt, where you clearly had people demonstrating nonviolently and in favor of freedom and democracy, and yet so many could only respond to this with these alarmist, it's a Muslim brother takeover and it's Islamist takeover of Egypt, and the Middle East is falling under a wave of radicalism. Now, just to go back a little bit, I think George W. Bush, to his credit, after 9/11, reached out to the Muslim community and was able to hold some of these tendencies in check. But with the election of a new Democratic president, and one named Barack Hussein Obama, no less, I think many conservatives who've been kind of steeped in this discourse have been allowed to let their freak flag fly, so to speak. I think this stuff was always there, and it's really come to the fore. Now, one of the key parts of this argument is this creeping Sharia argument. We've seen more people adopting this, the idea that Sharia law, as they define it, quote, a military religious doctrine of war, as it was defined in a report from the Center for Security Policy, is in and of itself a threat to the United States. We've seen, I think, over a dozen states now considering laws banning the adoption of Sharia law, whatever that would look like. We saw a Tennessee State Senate bill that would criminalize adherence to Sharia. I can only imagine how that might be enforced. And we've seen also ostensibly serious organs of conservative politics and analysis, such as National Review, unfortunately marketing this stuff. People like Andy McCarthy, who made the very simple argument that it is Islam itself that's the problem, positing in his latest book an alliance between the left and Islamic radicals. And this, of course, is picked up by Glenn Beck, who has been pushing out this massive conspiracy theory. I think at last check, it's now the Muslim Brotherhood, Code Pink, the NFL, and Colonel Sanders, all working together to sap America's vital essence.